welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and it's time to continue with a WIP and Waffle. I have worked on this Minions painting a little bit in this past week, and I've just spotted there's a bit of fluff, looks like it's off one of my cardigans, stuck in between the diamonds. Have I got tweezers in here? I feel like I need to get it while I can see it. I've got a pair of bent tweezers here, but I have loads of tweezers all over the house. There we go. I got rid of it. So I thought we'll continue with the WIP and Waffle this Saturday and Sunday, and hopefully I'll get all my YouTube comments clear. I'll feel like I am getting somewhere. So I'm going to zoom you guys in, but I'm going to try and keep, I think I've pretty much got that 3 section in there, because I am going to start working on the black. So I'm part way through this section. I was doing some the other night and I sort of did the rest of the colours there, sort of went up to the pole. I've just realised I'm getting low on black, but hey, I may have to pause in the future and grab a bit more black. I'm using a pink Add More Zest tray, so the big size tray, and I'm using the limited edition pen from the other month because it was the one I was using last time I did it. Not last time I did it on the WIP and Chat, but last time I did it sat in the conservatory. So I just grabbed the same things. But I hope you've all had a great week. I know some people have watched last week's WIP and Chat. Some of them have watched some of it. Some of them haven't yet watched it at all. But if you ever need a mammoth diamond painting session, or whether I just WIP and Waffle while you get your cleaning done or something, then it's there for you to watch. Do hit like and subscribe on the video, please. Well, subscribe if you're not already. Do hit me a little like, because that does help with the whole what's good on YouTube type algorithm. And yeah, settle in for a WIP and Chat that we will see how long it is. So I'm actually filming this on Friday night, so the day before it's going to go up. And what I figured is I will WIP and Chat my way through Friday evening until I get to the point I can do no more, and then I'll finish off the rest for Sunday. And then I ordered a very, very exciting, well, exciting for me, I think it's exciting item this week, which hopefully will be arriving the day you're watching this, the Saturday. But it is Royal Mail, and they have sort of been a day later than expected so far this week. So anything that's been a 48-hour and is supposed to be with me on a certain day has actually been the day after. So I may not get it until Monday. Time will tell, but I'm rather excited. So I'm kind of hoping it turns up tomorrow, because then I can film the video and actually get my mitts on the organisation heaven, is what I call it. But having said that, I do still have lots of videos to film and get ready for this upcoming week or so for both channels. So I'll be busy anyway, getting all of those ready. I'm trying to think if I actually... I actually don't have the unboxing of my Fabby Dabby item down for a video next week, but if it arrives tomorrow, I'll try and squeeze an unboxing in. I'll do a little reshuffle and squeeze an unboxing in so that you can all see my Fabby Dabby item. If it doesn't arrive till Monday, I will probably have to do it for the following week, because I can't guarantee I can get videos done through the week. I commit to it on a WIP and Chat month. So December and June I commit to it, but I can't always commit to it other days of the month. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's get back to comments and questions. So I'm currently on the 21st of December. So we've got a couple of comments from Helen. So she does say you could always keep the stickers on your storage bottles and use the pens on them. And once you're kitting down, you can rub out the numbers instead of taking them off the stickers each time. So on the 21st, I unboxed a present from Celine, who sent me a set of friction pens. So they're pens that, you know, you can write with and then they disappear with friction from the end of the pen, or they can go with heat as well. But I like that idea, Helen. I do like the idea of labelling up some pots and not having to peel the stickers off and just rub them off instead. Not so much for the saviour, well, it is partly for the saviour of stickers, though I do have lots. I definitely have access to lots of stickers, but I do like the idea for not having to deal with, you know, taking the stickers off pots and the mess that can sometimes come with that. I'll have to test how good I am at drawing symbols or writing the symbols or DMC numbers on stickers when they're on the pots and not flat, because I normally write them flat and then put them on the pot. So I'll have to give that one a go with paintings that I kit up in the new year. And that one has got very, very stuck to my glue dot. It's not long had a top up of glue dots in this pen. It had a little bit of a top up due to use of this pen, because I think this is the pen that I've used all the way over Christmas on any painting I've been doing in my, you know, sort of in my downtime. I've been using this pen and my glue dot needed a refresh. I pushed it too far into the pen for its liking. Helen also says, she says she didn't realise that there were different types of drills. She says like resin and something else. Yeah, there's resin and acrylic drills. You can find that, I think it's, I always forget which way round it is between the two, but I know Evermoment only use the one type of drills. Most of the higher end companies tend to use one type of the drills that can in general be a little bit better than the others. They can still have imperfections, you know, there's thousands and thousands of tiny little dots or tiny little squares. There is likely to be some imperfections, but it doesn't tend to have quite as many. The size tends to be a little bit more uniform than it can be with some of the others. But yeah, there are a couple types. She says apart from the obvious ABs and crystals, yeah. Yeah, there's acrylic and there's resin. Celine says she's glad that I like the pens. She was hoping that they'd save me some time and with all of the colours to help you make your logbook look pretty. Yes. I'm thinking I might use them on my logbook. I'm a little bit half and half because heat can make them go. I wouldn't want the use of my logbook, opening and closing it and stuff, to make the ink wear out. But I think I might still use them in my logbook but I might use them in sections where it's not as detrimental if the information does disappear. So maybe use it more in the My Stash section, or maybe to use it to make notations next to My Stash, and maybe still fill the actual logbook part in with a normal pen that won't disappear. Excuse me. That won't disappear if it does get any friction with it. Coughing some more and I'm making this jump. I've got a very tickly cough that has stayed over from the cold I had at Christmas, so I do apologise if it keeps catching me out. It is not the dreaded, it is not what I call the lurgy that is going around. We have been testing daily, or pretty much daily, unless I'm never going out the house that day. Even sometimes when I'm not going out the house, I test for that day. And there's nobody else in the house that has come down with it, myself included. I've not come down with it either, so it's not that, it's just a stinking cold that will not go away. That, many a time we just put up with and got on with. Now we always wonder and keep testing just to check. But yeah, I was also thinking, Celine, I am probably going to use them a lot more so maybe in my planner, my 2022 planner, and for jotting down in certain days, more details about YouTube videos and stuff that I'm going to do and things that I want to do, because quite often I can change what YouTube videos I'm doing. My new item that's due this week is a prime example. If that turns up tomorrow, I do want to do that video sooner, partly because I've discussed it, also because I'm excited, and some of the other videos that I've got, aren't ones that people have necessarily heard about and are waiting for, so they can go to a later on in the week or the following week without causing any problems or issues. So I often move stuff around like that sometimes. If I plan too far ahead, I often find I move things too much. So I try to only plan for sort of the next couple of weeks, and then I move them about all the time. So I'm thinking those pens will be amazing for that. Had a proper tickly cough that would not go away then, so I saved you all from it, and had a little bit of drink of my brew while I was there, in between coughs, of course. Yeah, I think I finished answering that question, or comment, should I say. But yeah, I do greatly appreciate them, Celine, and I think there's a few different places that I will put them to good use, and put them to work. Get them well used. Lady Dax, she says, happy winter solstice to all on this side of the hemisphere. This was on the 21st. She said she did her section early this morning, and says it's a busy day for her daughter and herself. She says they have their Yule meal this evening, and she had to clear all of her diamond painting set up off the table. She had red square crystals in her advent today. She says while her daughter is preparing their meal, she's watching this video, awesome, and making use of the colour while you wait tablecloth, she said. She got them for her grandsons, but she had to get one for themselves too. That's another relaxing hobby, isn't it, is colouring. I remember when that sort of took the UK by storm, and I remember you could find colouring books everywhere. And in this house we had loads of them. They have died down a little bit now, but there's still every now and then one of the girls will come back or will have picked up an adult colouring book, and they'll just sit there and lose a few hours doing a bit of colouring in and just be happy doing it. They've been working on book journals quite a bit at the beginning of this year. Both Catherine and Caris have been working on theirs. Megan's had assignments due in for her masters, so that's been her concentration primarily alongside working, is to get her masters assignments in. And I'm sure she'll play catch up maybe once her masters is done. She won't take on any over the top other things to do, and we'll get that done, but we'll see. I could just keep having to give these the odd nudge. Not doing very well on my placement today. I will zoom in a bit when it gets to doing some colour. I'll try and zoom in and focus more on the actual section I'm doing rather than it being an overview. Kimberly said happy belated birthday to Caris. She said I hope she had a wonderful and amazing day. She says in regards to a zesty mystery painting, she says she loves the idea of having one for a WIP and Waffle, maybe a winter themed painting for next year. She says not trying to add more to your already full plate, she says, but it does sound like fun. Hope you and your family are having an awesome day and happy holidays to everyone in the group, she says. And then she's put hugs and kisses from Ohio. I love the amount of places that everybody's from. It's fun to see all the different countries, you know, and even within countries, states and areas that people are from. It's our own little community, even across the waters. Our little zesty community, diamond painting. All things crafty by Kaz. She said, oh yes, the NHS is a bit crazy at the moment. She said, especially where she works. She's a staff nurse at in the neonatal intensive care unit at her local hospital. She says they go from being extremely busy to extremely quiet. She says there is no in between, no middle ground, she says, but she enjoys looking after the preterm babies. Oh, that's nice. I had one of my children went into the neonatal unit, the intensive care unit for babies, and that was actually our Megan. Many years ago, gave us the fright of her life, and was in there for a few days once she was born. So glad that none of the others decided to do the same to me, or to us. But yeah, so grateful. The nurse, you do have to have like a different level, I suppose, of care and understanding, because it's nowhere near only the babies, is it? I mean, I know in other areas of the hospital you do have the family members, but there's something about, you know, it happening to a newborn, and the level of care that you have to give to the parents as well is out of this world, or at least it definitely was. You know, the care that I had, they were absolutely fantastic and purely did not mind me being there for at least 8 hours per day, every day. Aluma says, would you be able to video a time lapse of the tray being printed? She said, would love to see how they are made. We do have a quick or a quickish time-lapse video of, I think, 2 or 3 trays being made. The camera's pointed at 2 or 3 of them. I'll have to have a look which ones that I've got. If I've not got one that shows a full tray from start to finish, I'll try and get one of those set up to just show the tray being printed. We have done a couple, but I'll try and make sure that I've got a full one. If not, I'll try and get a time lapse of it, of one of them up, so that you can see. At the moment, the printers are still working on the 3 standard colours, though there has been, or there was been, no. There was, let's use the right English words, I am English after all, there were enough trays printed for the orders that came in from the 1st of January, which is great, because I didn't want, you know, as much as I appreciate each and every single sale, you know, that there is that level of, if it ends up going to a delayed status, you know, printing 4 orders. It actually didn't get to that point. It got close on a couple of colours, but not to the point that people were waiting for trays to be printed. So they're still currently printing the 3 stock colours, but they're topping, you know, retopping up the stock, or trying to, according to orders. So that's good. Hopefully we will still be able to bring out a limited edition colour for February. We're not sure yet. We're never sure until we get the colour on the printer, but we will see how it goes. Right, when I was having my little coughing episode earlier, I did also grab my whole load of extra colours for this Minions painting. As you can imagine, it's so big. So I'm just going to refill my black pot. And once that's been refilled, then I'll tip some out, because it doesn't use the whole bag. I don't tend to overfill it either, but I do just use a funnel. Oh, there's one in there. Okay, they're all out. So it's not quite, you know, full to the top, but it's close enough. And then I'll tip some into the tray for doing the rest of the black, and put those to one side in case I need them. Helen Wright, she said, Big W, was that a shop here in the UK back in the day? I don't think Big W was. I think it was just Woolworths, which in Australia, Big W looks like Woolworths, or very similar colouring, with it being the red. I don't remember us actually having a Big W, but there's definitely a Woolworths with its pick and mix and its good children's toys. Always used to shop in Woolworths for the kids for Christmas. Woolworths and the Argos catalogue. Used to love going shopping there, but oh well, these things happen. Shops do come and go. Handcrafted by Helen. She said Kmart in New Zealand only have a couple of designs in diamond painting. She says a mandala and a flower painting that looks quite simple. She says it's more for kids, she thinks. Spotlight, she said, has the Diamond Dots brand here, and probably Australia too. Yeah, our Hobbycraft here has Diamond Dots, the brand. They do have a few others, but they do seem to be more orientated to children. I think the Works have a couple of their own, quite simple ones. I think B&M have had them as well, UK-wise, and the Range also has some. I think they have more the Craft Buddy that I have had a few items from online. That's who I've got my sealer from. So the sealer I tend to use is from Craft Buddy. They've got into a few shops now. They may have even got into some in Hobbycraft. So it's definitely, there's getting more, but it tends to be the same. Some of them tend to just be the same bigger brands. I like it when you find the odd place that has, maybe its own brand of something. So it sounds like Kmart have brought its own brand out. They just need to bring a big girl one out or an adult size one out, and we'll probably all be very, very happy. Or at least I will. I only tend to, go around Kmart and Spotlight and all the rest of it when I'm in Australia. I only tend to go around it once, and then I don't tend to go for another couple of years. So as long as they change their design every couple of years, I'll be happy. Kathy also says happy birthday to Karis. Right, I'm just going to drink the rest of me coffee. I'm trying to dodge paintings as well that are all around me. I still need to do all those unboxings. So if you hear rustles, it's all the paintings near me. And then I need to find some boxes for giveaways, because I like to have it all lined up before it goes live. So Cindy said, this is on the 21st. She said, sadly, she finished her last section of her advent she was doing today. She said it was a 30 by 40 Harry Potter, but she actually only on purpose, sectioned 21 areas on it. I said that very weirdly, only on purpose. Cindy actually put it properly. She said she'd only sectioned off 21 areas. She said knowing that they were having guests or family over for 4 days straight from the 23rd to the 26th, and then again on New Year's Eve and on New Year's Day, she knew she needed to grab the time while she could. This was her first year to participate, and so she does hope that I continue to do the tradition next year. She says she's loved it. I love the fact that you've joined in, but you've made it work for you and your family. So you've joined in, but you've sectioned it into 21, because you've got family on the 23rd, which means the 22nd always has stuff that you need to do. So you've sectioned it off so that you could do it, knowing what was coming. Unexpected things happen. They do, and we deal with those, but to actually plan for the bits that you can is awesome. She says, do you and your family have any New Year traditions or ways in which you celebrate? She said her hubby and herself, she said they have a fire pit outside where at dark they sit beside it, sip mimosas and talk about the past year, she said, good and bad, and hopes and plans for the new year. Oh, I like that idea. I very much like that idea. She said then at midnight, she says we watch all the fireworks going off at the 3 neighbourhood areas surrounding them and have their first New Year kiss. She says, Merry Christmas to you and yours, and hope for a safe and glorious New Year. She says, stay safe and blessed. Oh, thank you. Now, I love your sort of New Year tradition. We used to, a few years back, my sister-in-law used to host a New Year's Eve party, and we used to go there. Then when she stopped doing them, which is not surprising because she took over Christmas, so she took over Christmas Day, we started doing more of a family sort of games night often, and we'd play a board game or so up till midnight. This year was a bit more even chilled than that. We were together, we were about, in the same sort of room, And we did watch the fireworks in London and stuff on the TV, but we didn't particularly play a game and stuff beforehand. We just sat around enjoying each other's company and discussing all sorts of stuff. And in fact, Megan and I were also working on some shop stuff in the background, and we were still doing that at about 10:30, 11. So definitely a lot more relaxing, you know, / different New Year this year, but we enjoyed it. We all just enjoyed spending that sort of time together and chatting, and yeah, just all being in the same room. It's always good. Tricia said, Rebecca, she said she loves the friction pens. She said she uses them often. She said, just be aware that the ink disappears with heat. The friction creates the heat. She said, but other types of heat can work. So an iron, a hairdryer, or leaving it, she said, leaving it in the car during the summer in the desert. Well, I won't be leaving it in a desert car. It could potentially get left in a car in British summer. I'm not sure if that would be hot enough. But yeah, I am going to be aware that it is, you know, of potentially how permanent it is compared to the item that I'm going to put the details into. And I think that's why I'm happy for, you know, I'm happy to use it on the likes of my stash list in my logbook might be a good one, because if I do decide to pass on something, I can just rub it out because it's no longer my painting. But I think when it comes to the actual logbook details of the painting, then I'll do that part in pen, because that's information I'll be keeping going forward. Yeah, it'll be something that'll take me a little bit of a while, I'm sure, to determine exactly what. But I'm pretty sure I will use them on, you know, my storage next time, and maybe see if I can get away with rubbing it off and writing it on again on the bottles. As long as I can safely write it on the bottles, then I'll probably do that. I also think I might use them quite a bit in my planner, because a planner doesn't tend to be something I keep after. You know, I don't tend to keep previous planners. As long as, you know, I've got the birthdays noted down in the next one, I don't tend to put any other sort of information that... It's information that sometimes would be nice to look back on and nice to keep. But space is more important to me than keeping that. So... yeah, I think I'll use them a lot in my planner, and maybe even in my to-do list. Probably make my to-do list pages maybe last a bit longer, or at least look a bit neater for some of my to-do lists, you know, that are my longer, more permanent ones. It'll probably make those look a lot neater when something either doesn't need to be done anymore. I can get rid of it or adapt the list if I need to alter what was on a list. So I think I'll use them very much in my day-to-day. Margaret said, happy 21st of December. She said, time is going fast, doesn't it always? It can't make its mind up. It's either incredibly slow when it's a working week or going fast otherwise. She said she's still hoping that her logbook will arrive before Christmas. I have heard there's been some postal delays in Australia, or at least post being slower than normal. She says she's joining those who are on a no bicycle. For how long, she said, remains to be seen. Her Tiny Decisions app is going to be well used in the coming year, as she has so many paintings that she wants to complete. She does like the idea of the friction pens, and she's thoroughly enjoying the December WIP and Waffle. Thank you, Margaret, as always. I still see your little emojis appearing. There's a few people that leave emojis on videos that they're watching, even past ones and I do still keep seeing them. It makes me smile when I see people going through older videos when they're watching and catching up with older videos. So I do appreciate all your little emojis. Hit the little like button as well, and that means YouTube will keep recommending my videos. So I had one black one short in my tray. How close was I? So close. Okay, let's have a look. What have we got now? So the next one on here is the letter T, and I do have the odd ones over here as well. So I'm going to see if I can zoom in. I think I need to... Oh, that's my maximum zoom, so let's move my painting down a little bit. And then I will get away with moving it over when I need to. I do have some little clips on this painting to keep it rolled up at the bottom. I might need to adjust those soon. But let's tip in the letter T. Put the pot to the side so that I don't knock it off. And I'm going to do the ones over here before I forget them first. And then I can move over to the other side. So there might be a couple that I have to move about just for that bottom part of the boat. And then we go back to this top section here where there's quite a bit. I've had a little clip of my canvas to try and keep it rolled up here at the bottom, so that I can go ahead and make sure that you guys at least still stay in shot. So Laura said she only had one colour to do on Zesty Wolf today. She says, yes, you may have guessed it was 775. It's always a quick day when you've got one colour. She said she was able to finish with 15 minutes to spare. It's amazing how much time we spend tipping diamonds out of the tray and back in. I can see why some people, if they have the space, the setup and the safety aspect there, i.e. no young kids or disastrous other halves or pets that knock things over, I can see why some people do set up colours, you know, that are in trays, because I reckon that will shorten down the time frame as well. So once, as Laura had finished early, she decided to lay back, listen, she said, and watch the rest of the waffle. She says, thank you so much. She can't believe that we only have 3 days left. I can't believe that it's been finished. We've had Christmas, we've had New Year, and we're now on the second weekend. I mean, I know it's what last weekend was New Year, but when I did the Monster WIP and Waffle, it was the 2nd of Jan. So by then, New Year was sort of done. As much as I was still off work, I was in work on the Monday, on the bank holiday. It was my bank holiday to do. So yeah, it's amazing how sort of fast it all went, really. Susan said it's getting really close now. She says she knows that I have mixed feelings about it ending. She says, like we do. She says, but she imagines it will be a relief to get to spend time with your family. She said, you're one very busy lady. So thank you for doing this during a hectic time of year. Oh, you're welcome. If I had all, you know, the family here and had to do a Christmas dinner, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not the Christmas dinner kind of person. That would probably still be more husband. I am in no way a chef. Even if I had all of that, I think I'd still love to carve out my WIP and waffle time. and, you know, just that bit of time to still be able to diamond paint for myself. But I am blessed in the fact that we do go to my sister-in-law's for Christmas dinner. So it definitely makes the process easier and a lot more practical for me to do, even around work. Okay, tea is done. And I'm just sort of eyeing up the next one, which is one of the triangles that I do need to pay attention to. Yeah, it's that one. So this is one that is very dark red, is the blue triangle facing the other way. And of course I've turned my diamond painting on its side. So I do always double check this symbol before I do it. I don't have any on the other side of the boat. So at least I don't need to move the painting for this bit. Cheryl says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you. I hope you and yours had an amazing one as well. It probably feels like a lifetime ago. If you're somebody that's, you know, was off from work, or somebody that was blessed to be off from work and has since gone back to work, or whether you're somebody that did work through a lot of Christmas and are still at work, Christmas seems so long ago. Well, it wasn't a 4-day week for me this week, because I did work on the Monday. But I think it's everybody else who did have Monday off. I think they feel as though it's still been a 5-day week, even though they've only worked 4. It's definitely been the way it's felt to them. Sonia, she says she's commented on the 8th of December. She said, hey, she said, I'm binge watching. She said she's only on day 8, but she's following the videos. She says she's not doing an advent, but she is doing a little project with her family unit initials. And once done, she'll post up the finished project. I think I've seen that. Family unit initials, they're separate diamond paintings. So I think you did a lot of diamond paintings in that time. You definitely did a big chunk to do all those initials. You were on a speed mission. You did about 6 advents. Nellie, she says, hi Rebecca. She said she's bought some pens, but she keeps going back to the same one. That can sometimes happen with pretty pens. I can do that. I can start using one and I can actually use it for a really long time. But then I change up and another one will be my favourite for a long time. I think a lot of it very much depends on my mood. Okay, so I've just had a look. I don't have that symbol on the boat either. So let's pop that symbol away. I do have a couple up here, but I do only have a few of this number 6. So let's do those. I only have 3. I have one on here, and I just picked up 2, but it hit my craft room floor. And then I have 2 down here. So I'm going to do these 2 as well. Now dropped another one, but that one stayed on my desk, so that can go back in. Okay, I do have all of these symbols here over this side as well. I'm trying to think which one to start with. That's the one I've got the most of, followed by that one. So let's start with the one I have the least of. Why not? So I'm going to start with the Y. Y? And then I'll move over and do the rest, and then I'll do the next one and move back. And I'll try and get these 3 colours that are showing in the boat and in the top part of the boat. Get those 3 done before I continue filling in the rest. Sharon said, be careful with the friction pens. She said she wrote in her son's driving log when she was teaching him to drive. And at the end, she realised that the movement of the pages was enough to erase everything. She had to start at the last entry and work backwards to guess what the entries were. Oh, yeah, I can see that not being a fun job. But thank you for the warning. I will bear that in mind with what I'm writing in the friction pens. I think I will primarily be using them for my sort of shortish term planning, i.e. my YouTube videos over the next couple of weeks, rather than like a whole year's worth. Oh, that would be daunting, doing a whole year's worth. So I'm thinking I might use it more in my, day-to-day planning things that can move and can change. And potentially my to-do lists as well. I think it will be very good for my to-do list book, which, while it does get a lot of use, it doesn't get a lot of pages movement as much. But yeah, I will keep an eye on that. Debbie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. She'd love to say thank you so very, very much for her Christmas present, she says, from her gorgeous husband, who is not well. She says, Mr. Zesty Wolf came on Wednesday, the 22nd. She said, just in time for Christmas. She can't wait to see what next year holds. You're doing a great job, she says. Love to you and yours. Love, Debbie. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I hope you really enjoy doing Zesty Wolf. I know some people haven't done him yet. They're either saving him or maybe they chose to purchase him after the Advent had started. One poor lady, her parcel decided that it didn't want to turn up and it wanted to get stuck somewhere. We're not quite sure where. It got stuck somewhere. I don't know whether she was planning on doing it for Advent or not. It wasn't mentioned. But yeah, there was one poor lady who was extremely patient, but she now has a Zesty Wolf. In fact, she now has 2. Yeah, that decided it wasn't going to turn up in time for her, even though she'd ordered in plenty of time. But that's the joys of the postal service, I suppose. Oh, nearly forgot to do the ones on the other side of the boat. I would have been very annoyed with myself if that had have happened. There we go. I still actually have a Zesty Wolf kitted up here that Caris, we kit up for Caris. I think we may have done it on the 30th of November, ready for her. She's done 1 square. And she does still want to do the rest. It's just not happening in December. But that's the way it goes. So I've got 1 little arrow for this one, and that's the boat. In fact, I don't think those colours, at first glance, I don't think those colours appear further up here. But we definitely have some other ones that need doing. I will keep cross-checking that I've not missed one, but I think we might be able to work down in sections now. Work down in colour groupings. and get all these done and see how far we get. See how long we get for today's WIP and Waffle and how many questions we have left. Linda said today she is not diamond painted along with the Advent Waffle. She said it's too hot. Oh, we've had a cold snap hit in. I feel like I need a bit of your warmth. She says it's too hot and humid to do anything, to the point that the pen slides around in your hand as you're sweating too much. Oh, no, okay, maybe we'll just have a little bit of your heat, not all of it. She says so she's having to put it aside and just do the minimum of activity. She says the joys of living in a house not suited to the climate and no aircon. Oh, can you not get an aircon unit, Linda? Some sort of portable unit? We have one. It was picked up from somebody who was actually getting rid of it, but I don't know if we'd have actually bought one otherwise, because we definitely don't have too hot a summer in the UK. We're not known for it. But we did have some really, really warm days last year, and it did actually it did turn out to be an amazing thing to have. Maybe you could get yourself more of a portable one if you can't get yourself one, you know, that's fitted to the house as such. You know, just so you can keep on diamond painting. Jackie said, please can you put a link up to those pens? She said, as I too hate making a mistake when writing an important stuff, because crossing it out makes it look untidy. The pens were actually bought for me, Jackie, by Celine, but if you search for friction pens, let me just get you the spelling just to make sure. You get hold of one just so I can show it you. So they're made by Pilot. I'm just going to get hold of one because the camera won't focus if I do it too close. I don't know if it's there we go. Frixion. So Frixion by Pilot. But if you search for friction pen on the likes of Amazon or maybe a stationer's near you, then I have seen them about. I know UK wise, Tesco's do them. I've seen them in Tesco's. Other stationers will do them as well, but I'm pretty sure I've seen them in our Tesco's. And they may well do them in the likes of Asda and things as well. But yeah, that's the best way to find one, because I don't know the exact ones that Celine got, because she did gift them to me. Rebecca, she says, hello from Perth, Australia. Bet it's warm over there. She says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. It's looking like they're having a 43 degrees centigrade. That's hot. Christmas Day and Boxing Day this year. She says, with regards to stores that sell diamond painting, she's also seen some at Red Dot. Oh, I haven't heard of Red Dot. I will have to check out whether that is something that they have stores in, like Victoria, Melbourne way. But if they do, I'll be sure my dad will find out. He's very good at hunting down places and locating and taking me in turn. She says, thank you for the time and effort you put into your videos. She says she enjoys having a friendly voice to diamond paint with. Oh, you are more than welcome. Thank you for watching, for being here, for my ramblings or my wafflings. Naomi says that Kmart does have them in Australia. I'll definitely be going a few of those then. And most little craft shops. Ooh, there's a few little craft shops, I'm pretty sure, in the shopping centre in Geelong. So I might have to put that on my little list as well. My family know I have a list of places I like to go when I visit, just to get a few different things. Alice says she's going to miss the Advent when it's finished. She says she looks forward to my videos going up every day. So knowing that we only have 3 days left, she says, and when you get a chance to read this, it will all be finished. When I get a chance to read it out loud, it's all finished, Alice. I did read it when it came through, she says, but it makes her a little bit emotional. Oh, well, I'm back now to pretty much daily. There is the odd time I don't do a daily video on this channel, but often it coincides with a video on my other channel. So you do still sort of get a video. If you subscribe to both, you'll get a video a day, if not 2 videos on many days. But the thing is, I pretty much always keep having something to do a video on. I don't know what I'll do when I get to 100 tips and tricks. I think that might be when the videos are more likely to slow down on this channel. And I don't mean slow down to stop, just have the odd, a few more times that there's a day off or a day of no video, is when the tips and tricks are done, because that's like a mini series that's going up to 100, and I don't know of another series that could potentially take its place. We'll see. I may end up with more 100 tips, more than 100, may end up with less than 100. We're just going to see how it goes, and life keeps changing. I'll see where we're at when we're at it. Okay, I'm going to change my colour before I read the next question, because I'm more likely to make a mistake if I'm trying to look at the screen and tip out diamonds all at the same time. It's not a good mix. So we're still on the oranges. This is sort of the top of the roof of the boat that my minions are in. Oh, I think I'm either on halfway or just about to go past halfway on this Minions painting. And I've done quite a bit in these big long WIP and waffles. And I've done some through the week. Actually had at least one day this week at least where I actually sat at the dining table and did some of the diamond painting of the Minions, and my hubby sat at the other side of the dining table and did some of his Lego. So the idea was that we'd both sit there doing a little bit chatting, though he was a bit busy concentrating on his Lego. So you could tell he was listening, because he did answer, a question or put a comment into the conversation, but it was a bit delayed due to the concentration on the Lego. But that's because I got him the is it the Discovery spaceship and the telescope one. I knew he liked it. So I got him that Lego for Christmas. So he's been doing it bit by bit, trying to enjoy the process and spread it out. And yeah, it was quite nice. Even though the conversation, took a little bit more because of the fact that, as we all know, as you all know already, I can chat and diamond paint at the same time. I don't need the same level of concentration as you do for Lego. But yeah, it was nice. It worked. It was just a different way of doing diamond painting, I suppose, rather than just listening to my book, which I enjoy doing as well. But it's nice to mix it up a little bit. And sometimes I like to watch videos as well while I'm diamond painting. I mix it up all the time, a little bit different each time, and it makes the process better. Okay, don't have that one the other side. Did I already do that symbol? No, maybe not. I don't know. Part of me thinks I have done that symbol, but then part of me thinks, no, I've not. Who knows? I'm going to do it now because it needs doing. Oh, no, I didn't. It was just very close to the symbol I've just done. So I think I've seen it when I've been getting ones out of the pot. But there's only a few of them. Diane says she loves these Christmas Advent diamond painting days. She said they're fun to watch or to listen to while doing their own diamond painting. She said life has been and then she's put an angry face emoji. I'm guessing life has been testing recently. Diane, she says for the last month of 2021, but she'll still enjoy family time this Christmas. That's good. Still remember to take your little bit of downtime. Even if it's just 5 minutes to go out in the back garden and scream. Take your 5 minutes. She says, thank you, Rebecca, to everything you and your family do for the art. Oh, you're more than welcome. And I hope your 2022 is off to a much better start. Okay, so my next one I need to do here is actually this yellow that is all over the rest of this. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hold off on that one just for a little bit longer. Because I have so much of it over here, I'm going to move on to this one. And I might even try and get some of this green done before I go over to sort of the big yellow. That, or I might tip some diamonds of the yellow into my pot and into my tray and just use the ones in my tray up and then move on to another colour and then go back to it, because that still prevents me doing the whole tipping it in the tray, tipping it out, which I'm trying to not do as much. In fact, that's what I might do. I'm going to do these two. I'm going to tip some yellow into my tray, do here and make a start on around here. But whenever my tray runs out, I'm going to stop and I'm going to move along and build up the colours. I do that often, or I say often, sometimes I do that if I have a painting with, you know, lots of blocks but of 3 or 4 different colours. I will tip some of the colour into the tray, and rather than continue all the way across to the end, I'll just continue until the colour runs out, and then I'll do some of the other colours and then I'll go back to that colour. It's especially good if you do have, say, you know, a big background section that you've got. You tip a set amount into a tray and you go, right, I'm doing that much. And then you get to change it up a little bit before you go back to doing it. All little things to vary up your diamond painting. Just a little bit, keeps me entertained. Lady DAC says she's usually very stubborn about most things. She says, but that Captain America, she said, would have made a saint swear. Everything about it was bad, she said. She's a huge Marvel fan, but she would have not wanted that painting in her folder, let alone on her wall. Well, if it's made you reach that point, even as a stubborn person, then you've done the right thing getting rid, for definite. She says, so pleased to hear that you're thinking, in commas, she said, about an Add More Zest Advent. She says, I'll be your first customer. Oh, and and she got very dark purple square crystals in her Advent today. I think we all ended up with the same sort of colours in the advent at the end of it. They were just spread about over lots of different days. Jo said, "You got it right, Rebecca." She said it was the wax that frustrated me. She says, "But now I may start using pens for rounds and tweezers for squares." Yeah, because Jo used tweezers primarily for her diamond paintings rather than pens. And it was the wax that got on her nerves. She thinks a big factor of why she's more comfortable with tweezers is that it was the only tool that was available when she first started diamond painting. So that's how she learnt to do it. If she's not mistaken, she said the pens only came out a year or two after she started. Oh wow, so you must have been doing it for a good while, Jo. Battery in my camera actually went on me that time. Sneaked up on me. So I've tipped in the yellows in my tray, and I've actually tipped in what I've got left in the pot. So that's as good an amount as any. So however far these get me is however far I go. And then I will do some green, potentially do some white, and then move back on to the yellow. Or what I do want to do is there is 2 on this side of the black. So I want to do those, and then I'm going to fill in, or I'm going to start filling in this section, and then I'll start filling in this one. Lynn, she says her family does white elephant, but everyone brings crazy socks instead. I like it. I like that idea. I think we are going to go with the board games next year, potentially. That is if everybody remembers around the September-October time when we start discussing it again, if the family remembers. Irene says, "Thank you, Rebecca, for what you do for us on YouTube." Oh, you're more than welcome. I do enjoy it. It is fun. I get somebody to chat to. Hubby went out this evening, though he is back now if you do hear the TV in the background, but he went out to some friends, and he even said, "Do you mind me going out?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to do some diamond painting." I said, "Or I might do a video." He's like, "I feel less guilty if you're doing a video." And I'm like, "Okay." I'll get my video done. It did get me, moving. It does work better for me if I do it this evening. But I don't know why it makes a difference me doing a video rather than listening to my audiobook, but I suppose it does mean that I'm about more at some point over the weekend, because I won't then be doing the video, so I can see the benefits to that for sure. Anne-Marie says she ordered from Cosmolori. She said she just heard the questions being asked a few days back. She said took around 2 to 3 weeks for it to come. I'm not sure where she's based, but she said the quality was okay. She said similar to that of fan cells. She says she's loving the Advent chat and she's just got caught up. She can't wait to see what comes in next month's tray colours. Well, I hope you enjoyed our Zesty trays for January. I know some people will potentially be waiting for the next limited edition to purchase their Zesty trays, and that's completely fine. I don't want people to feel as though they're missing out, because January is a hard month for many. It's not always the shopping month for people, that's for sure. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. A lot depends on when your payday falls, and potentially how much you spend over Christmas often as well can make a big difference. All things are crafty by Kaz. So this was a comment on the 22nd. She said it's her hubby's birthday today and he turns 50. They went to the Shard for the afternoon tea and then went to the viewing gallery. She says hubby enjoyed his birthday, but she's absolutely knackered. And the afternoon tea was nice, she says, but quite filling. Ooh, did you get cucumber sandwiches? I hope you at least got scones. I've got to love scones on an afternoon tea, especially if you can get them with clotted cream. Even better. It's like a little treat if ever, you know, hubby goes and does the food shopping, or maybe one of the kids do, and they've spotted scones at some point on the way round, or spotted the clotted cream, and then to pick up the other one. It's not something we ever remember to pick up every single week. By far, sometimes it's only every other month. It's more of the memory comes back to us while we're shopping, and they just get picked up, and it's amazing when they come home. Scones and clotted cream. But happy birthday to hubby. I hope he had a wonderful day, Kaz. He actually did share a birthday with my nan. She would have been 98 on her birthday, but she's resting. Talita, she said, did anybody else notice that Rebecca said the letter 4 rather than the number 4? I don't think there's many other comments on it. There's probably other people that have noticed it. But yeah, I will occasionally completely muddle up my words and say the letter 4 rather than the number 4. At least you all knew what I meant. Anna, she says, great chat. She says, as far as announcing things in the group and on Instagram, therein lies the problem, she says to me. Not everyone uses Instagram or is in the group. She says she's in neither. So the same people have access to new things all the time. I do understand where you're coming with that, you know, from that angle, Anna. The thing is, YouTube is, while I do a video showing the shop items on YouTube so that people can have, you know, as much of a visual look at something, they can have that 3D look at items that you can't always get from a still picture. They've also, you know, got the size reference of my hands or the other items that are surrounding it. So while I do a shop video each month, YouTube is more of a platform for the learning, the enjoyment of the hobby, the chatting about different things, which yes, does involve shop items, but doesn't always involve shop items. We also do, you know, I also do the preparation videos, the kitting up, the tips and tricks, all that sort of stuff. YouTube is more of a learning and a chatting platform. It's not a marketing platform, you know. It's really hard to say, but it's not sort of a quick, you know, shop update, here's a sale type thing. That's not what YouTube is in relation to things that are quick and to the point, like the mystery boxes, for example. When they do go up, that's a quick, here it is, do you want it or not? While I appreciate that you're not on Instagram or in the group, there's not really many other avenues. We may look into some sort of email notification if that's something, you know, that may work for some people. We'll see if we can, you know, start building up a mailing list and maybe use that for the one-off deals. But YouTube isn't really the avenue for that. YouTube is more for videos, say more learning videos. There is some shop ones on there, but they're also there for reference in the future, whereas the likes of a mystery box or a shop announcement of an item that doesn't tend to last more than an hour doesn't warrant a YouTube video that is then up there for eternity, especially when notifications for YouTube aren't like an instant thing for people. People can't turn on an instant, you know, well, you can turn on notifications for YouTube, but it doesn't mean it buzzes at you like maybe something else does, or, you know, if you've got your settings that way. So yeah, I appreciate it's not going to work for everybody. I will see if we can look into the email list, and maybe that'll tick the box for you as to a notification is to an email notification or an email newsletter when we have new items coming out. I'll see what I can do about that one, because I do appreciate all the feedback, but I am very limited on what I can do for everything and what I have the time for everything. And frankly, I'm not going to please everybody. I do get that. I'm not going to be able to tick the boxes for everybody. I can just do my best. Linda said she didn't know about the mystery boxes either. Yeah, it was very much a, you know, you may or may not see them. We recognise that there were people that were busy that day. There are people that, you know, are getting on with their lives that day. That is the case. It sometimes happens that way, but they are very, very limited. If we gave notification to everybody, then I reckon there will be a lot more people not happy that it came out of their basket within, you know, while they were putting in their card details and they went too quick. And then we would have a different type of unhappy. We just can't win. Talita, she says, what you call white elephant, we here in Brazil call amigo oculto. She says she doesn't like these types of games. Oh, they're not for everybody. We thought we'd give it a go this year. We enjoyed it. And we think we might do it again. But they aren't for everybody. Sherry said, where did your husband buy the easel? She says, I love your videos. My easel actually wasn't bought for me by my hubby. The light pad was, but the easel was bought for me by a subscriber called Diana. I think she purchased it from Amazon in the US and then got it sent to me. If you're in the UK, you can get them from the Works. Megan actually picked herself one up from the Works after using mine, and she loved it. And there are some available on Amazon as well. But yeah, you're looking for sort of, if you want the same sort of easel, I've got a tabletop or a wooden easel, and you will probably be able to find one in your country. Margaret, she said, happy 23rd of December. She says, an advent calendar can include sweeties, she said, as you do need those when diamond painting. I like your ideas. She says she's working alongside me today. She does think she's bitten off more than she should have. She's not done any work on her Heaven and Earth design for the past week. She says Zesty and the Christmas gift are taking priority. She said she's saddened that this WIP and Waffle is coming to an end. Yeah, I'm kind of sad that it's finished because I really enjoyed working on Zesty Wolf. She says she's read that Evermoment is closing its sister stores due to most people ordering from the official store. Yeah, I tend to order from the official store more than anything because I know exactly then which one it is. I have been having a little browse and I have got a few ever moment things in my basket. I just want to finalise my decision on which one it is that I want. I do think I only want to get one. I want to try their poured glue canvas, you know, and buy myself a nice diamond painting, but I think I only want one. I'm pretty sure I only want one. I don't need any more. I need to get through some of the ones that I've got. And while I am not on a no buy, I am on a be careful before you buy instead. So I think I will need to sort of have a proper look and refine down which one I want. I've also just found an AB that's caught in my tray, but I'm going to leave that sat there until I finish these because I'm using the whole tray up, and then I will sneak it back into its pot hopefully. This glue dot's decided it wants to get stuck on this one. Okay, let's have a reset on the glue dot. Come on, behave. You can go there instead. Susan said, seeing Zesty Wolf almost finished, she said it is a real treat. All those glorious colours are amazing. It sure went by fast. She said, thank you for sharing. Oh, you're welcome, Susan. Thank you for being here each day. Jackie, she said, I would definitely buy an advent calendar from you because I could trust it would be very good value and the contents would be useful / fun. Oh, thank you. I say I am looking into it. It is sort of still in the back of my mind and occasionally in the front of my mind. It is something that I'm exploring because I do want it to be, you know, one that people are happy with. It takes a little bit of time to make sure that that can potentially happen. Okay, Nellie, she says she likes using the step method as well. So this is the method where instead of doing a checkerboard, you just make little stairs as you go along. It's one of my favourite methods. Sometimes I do bigger sections, sometimes I do smaller ones. Sometimes I vary that up, just dependent on my mood, which is how a lot of things can sometimes go. She says she's done the checkerboard method as well. She says the reason she does the step is she cannot walk as long, so she does the work along with doing the stepping method. Awesome. I'm glad the method works for you. I really enjoy the step method. I do prefer it to checkerboard. I think as well it's because I feel like I'm getting somewhere, because you're actually finishing off a section rather than looking at it and it's still having lots of separate bits. Right, I've put that AB back, and then I must have dropped a diamond somewhere because it's just, as I've wiped this canvas, then it's just rolling off. So let's pop that on there. Let's get rid of the last, there's a couple of little dotty bits, you know, like trash bits in the bottom. Okay, just moving my light pad over a bit just to make sure I've got the weight behind everything. Right, what's next? Right, I've got a little bit of X, but then I've also got all this white. No, let's do the green first. Let's do the greeny colours first. So start with X. I don't think there's any in these little bits. There's just some here near the leaf. So do these. Oh, Nellie has also said, I hope that you have a great new year. Thank you, Nellie. I hope you've had an amazing one and that the year just keeps getting better and better for you. Jackie, she says, although she's not doing an Advent this year, she loves the fact that she can watch and listen while she's doing other Christmas stuff, and she's enjoying my company. Well, that's part of it. Do you know what I mean? You might be doing other Christmas stuff, but you're taking a little bit of time just to, you know, watch a YouTube video or listen to a YouTube video while you're doing other stuff. So that's always good. Right, I only need 3 of these, and I've got 3 that are the right way up. So you guys are the winners for standing to attention. Okay. Talita, she says a burgundy was requested for the trays, was it not? Yes, it was. I do have a list of the requested colours for the trays. I just wasn't looking at it when I've answered questions before. I do reference these things, you know, before orders for filament colours and things are made. You know, so that I can cross them off the list and make sure that I am keeping up to date. But through the WIP Chats, I don't always refer to my little lists. But yes, burgundy was on my list for tray colours. We're getting through them slowly but surely. Right, one more green, and then I get to do a little bit of white. Which is it? So Jackie has actually commented on the 4th of June waffle. So back in June. But she said, she's commented and said she's watching it on the 23rd of December while she's finishing sealing off the canvas that she's made for Christmas presents. She said she only started her diamond painting journey at the beginning of August. Oh wow, I didn't realise it was that soon. She said she had no idea how long it would take to complete them. She's loved this picture, she said, from the first time she saw it, and hopefully she'll be able to get it soon. There are some absolutely amazing pictures out there. And the winter tree, even though it was June, the winter tree that I did, it was the winter tree that I did in June, wasn't it? I'm actually questioning it myself now. And now I have to go and check. I'm pretty sure it was the winter tree. It must be getting too late on a Friday if I'm not sure what it was. Yes, it was. It was a winter tree that I did in June because, you know, June is warm in the UK. So let's do something that's cold. Why not? Let's be a little bit different. But yeah, the winter tree was a picture that I saw come through on an email, and excuse me, jumping pen. And I knew that it was something that I would have to add to my stash, and that's why I'm not on a no buy, is I know there will be some paintings, pictures, things, diamond painting things that I need / want. So I don't want to put myself on a no buy, because while I have a decent stash, I don't have an out of control stash or too many that I'm uncomfy with the amount. But I do want to work through quite a few before I necessarily go on what I call a diamond painting splurge, where I get in the shopping mood and go buying loads. I'm not at that point. But I'm happy to pick up the odd diamond paintings, but they need to be a more thought about purchase than just because I'm in the mood for shopping, which can happen. That's the only limit I'm giving to myself. Okay, and I clicked on that comment to check the video, and bear with me now because it's gone all the way to the top of my comments, so I need to scroll back down to get to where I was up to. And I have got quite a few comments that I know I do need to reply to from more recent videos. I've just not got around to it yet. Okay, next one is Bev Tees. She says, greetings from New Zealand. She says she's enjoying following the Advent. She thought she'd better go into my shop and get the spare storage dividers. She says, but you've put your shop on holiday mode. She says, I'll watch out for when it's back open so she can go shopping. Yeah, we put it on holiday mode just before sort of last postage in the UK. Or it was like a day or so before last postage. We put it on holiday mode, but we are back up and running now, and I will be doing some spare storage revamp of my own. I say revamp, I'm bringing in a 4th box. That's what I'm doing. So I will be doing some of my own storage sort of updating, so you can always do that with me. But it's back up now. In fact, let me just type that in case she doesn't see it. I'm not sure if she's ordered or not, but I'm not going to go cross-checking orders to comments. Sometimes I feel as though that's like, is that a bit too much if I go nosy at that? Tracy, she says, where can I buy your clips from? My clips, I'm pretty sure, were DIY Choose. Let me just confirm. I'm just scrolling down my sort of unboxing list. Yes, it was DIY Choose is where I got the big clips from for clipping the diamond painting to the easel. The smaller clips are quilting clips, and I got those from Amazon. But the big clips can be really helpful if something, you know, starts getting quite weighty due to the amount of diamonds you've got on your other sections. Then the big clips can really help. Kathy says, I agree with you, Rebecca, about the tweezers. She says if she used them, she would drop way more diamonds than she'd put on the painting. Yeah, I mean, I can drop enough diamonds as it is, but I do have visions of potentially, you know, catching people in the eye if I ended up using tweezers on a regular basis. I think they would ping quite a bit more than I'd potentially want them to. But it could be entertaining when the children come in if they end up getting pinged by a diamond. There's something fun that could happen as well. At least they wouldn't get injured by them. Caroline, she said yes, she does get to keep the Chromebook. Woohoo! Chromebook is useful for Pattern Keeper. I don't know how much other stuff it's useful for. I know some of my colleagues at work were provided with a Chromebook when we first started home working. And they weren't the best for doing our day job, that's for sure. I was very glad that I had a full-fledged laptop and did not want to give it up for anybody. So she says she gets to keep the Chromebook and she gets to keep using Pattern Keeper on a 15-inch screen because the school now has enough to send one home I think it was your grandson, wasn't it? She said if they need to. Awesome. See, you got to purchase something to be nice and it ends up working out for you and you get to keep it in the end after you've let him use it. What could be better? And now, as you say, you have a 15-inch screen for Pattern Keeper. And you can just diamond paint to your heart's content on your heaven and earth designs. That definitely sounds like a win-win to me. Jackie said she has already started thinking about which one of her stash she wants to save for the June waffle. Awesome. I like that idea. I know I have had a few people that have mentioned they've already got certain paintings that they want to do for June. I know some people, when we announced Zesty Wolf in October, well, some people did, some people didn't purchase it. It was completely up to them. They did say, quite a few people said that they already had picked out their Advent diamond painting in October, ready for December. So it doesn't surprise me, Jackie, that you're already thinking about which one you want to do in June, in December. I'm not quite sure yet for June. I'm not sure whether to buy one, from another store specifically for it, or whether to do one from my stash. I think I'm going to leave that a little bit longer before I make that decision. See how the beginning of the year goes. But if I do purchase one for any reason, I'll be sure to let people know in case they want to do the same one. And it's perfectly up to them if they do. I'm going to see how it goes. The cat lady, she says hi. She says got here eventually. She says Diamond Art Studio, she says, were kind enough to send her a beautiful blue swirly pen and some magnetic minders when they found out she was buying some projects for her Christmas birthday. She said thanks again to Sam. They are lovely, aren't they? Absolutely lovely, the pair of them, Sam and Giles. She says, Merry Christmas, Rebecca, to you and your family. Enjoy your break. From Tina. Well, I hope you had an amazing birthday, followed by, or preceded by a great Christmas, whichever way you like to potentially split it up, or whether you like to keep it all together. And I hope you had a great New Year as well. I can imagine it is hard having a Christmas birthday, but at the same point, you possibly know no different. So there are two sides to it, aren't there? Jo has commented on the 23rd of December. She said, I can't believe there's only one left to go. She said, where did December go? Yeah. That's a question I'll be asking myself for a few months until I start asking where did January and February go. She says she'll be doing the last section tomorrow afternoon, but it'll probably be Christmas afternoon before she'll be able to watch tomorrow's video. She said your videos go up at midnight in her time zone. And in the Philippines, we welcome Christmas by staying up on Christmas Eve and having a meal with our loved ones at midnight. She says she'll make sure she takes an hour to complete Zesty Wolf in the middle of the preparation tomorrow. She said, thanks for all that you do, Rebecca, and for keeping us company as we diamond paint. Oh, amazing. So my videos go up when you are, or when you were, eating a meal with your loved ones, which is, it's pretty staggering how the different time zones work, and it's very hard to get videos to match all of them. In fact, it's pretty much impossible. I think we've only just managed to find a time zone that works for shop launches for most people, and it still doesn't hit everybody. But I hope you had an amazing Christmas. It sounds nice actually having a meal with loved ones at midnight. Though my kids were very ready to go to bed Christmas Eve, and it did become a point of, Mum, can we go to bed yet? Can we open our Christmas PJs so that you can take our photos so that we can go to bed? Because Christmas Eve is the one time of the year I get a photo of all 4 children together every year. That is pretty much the only one that's guaranteed. Others can happen, but the only one that's guaranteed is Christmas Eve. So at least I got that one before they went to bed. Right, I think that's going to be it for today's WIP and Waffle. We've got quite a bit of, well, where do we start? Over here. Quite a bit of that done. Of course, we've got quite a bit of the black done as well. We're on comments from the 23rd. So we do have the 23rd, the 24th, potentially some others to go. I don't know how long it'll be because I waffle. We will see how long the video ends up being, but you have a couple of WIP and Waffles, or you will have by the end of this weekend, to keep you going. But thank you so much for joining me for this video, and I'll speak to you all again soon.